Welcome to CGMB University again, ladies and gentlemen. In this module, we talk about the role that CAPA plays in a quality system. But before we jump into that, let's look at an analogy. If you look at the human body as a system, okay, it comprises several subsystems. There is a nervous system, there is the immune system, there is the digestive system, there is the reproductive system, and so forth and so forth. Now, the CAPA system represents the immune system of a quality system. I'm going to say that again. If you are going to think about if you're going to compare the quality system to a human body, you'd say, okay, just like the human body, the quality system has subsystems in it. Okay, CAPA is one of those subsystems. Now, in the quality system, CAPA represents the immune system. And then some of you will go, what does that mean? That means it corrects or adjusts the system. It captures what's wrong with the system and corrects it, or it senses what's wrong with the system and adjusts it in the form of preventive action. So it senses what's wrong with the system and captures it as corrective action, or senses what is wrong with the system and adjusts it in the form of preventive action. Okay? So two loops to it. CA, corrective action, PA, preventive action. The PA part of things is actually what should drive your system. That is correcting things or catching things before they happen. CA part of things, of the CA loop, is that loop that corrects things after you found them, after things have already fallen apart. Okay, so there are two loops in CAPA. Okay, there's corrective loop and preventive loop. Just like in the human body, there is the preventive and then there's a corrective loop. Okay, let's move on. All you need to know, the most important piece for you, is that CAPA is a continuous improvement quality subsystem that monitors, corrects, resolves, and maintains the health of the quality management system. If somebody ever asks you what a CAPA system is, and at the end of each module there are always questions, and this is one of the questions: what is a CAPA system? The answer is, it's a subsystem. It's a continuous process improvement quality subsystem that monitors, corrects, resolves, and maintains the health of the quality management system. That is the whole purpose of a CAPA system. Okay? I've had people asking me, okay, so what does that mean for pharma? What does that mean for medical device? What does that mean for biotech? Same thing. Key phrase: continuous improvement quality subsystem. It doesn't matter. It's independent of the business you are in. It's a common sense quality subsystem, independent of the business you are in. Every business looks for continuous process improvement. Okay, that's what CAPA is all about. Therefore, it really doesn't matter if you are in medical device. It really doesn't matter if you are in medical device or in a pharma or biotech. CAPA is never described by the business you are in. That's what I have to say. Okay, let's continue. Keywords you need to remember here, and here they are. It monitors. Second, it corrects. It resolves. It maintains. Okay? And CAPA operates on two continuous process improvement loops. You got to remember this is very important. CAPA operates on two continuous process improvement loops. Let's look at them. There is the potential problems before the fact. That is the part of things. It is a proactive loop in that you are looking for things before they happen and you correct them. Okay? The proactive loop. That's the PA loop I was talking about. Okay? The opposite of that is the reactive loop. Actual problems. That is the CAT thing. This is potential problems. This is actual problems. The CA loop is for actual problems. The PA loop is for potential problems. Now, potential problems are initiated in the CAPA system through a preventive action request, aka PAR or PAR. I'm going to repeat that again. Preventive action is initiated through the PAR loop through a preventive action request or PAR. Now, actual problems are resolved through a corrective action request, aka also called CAR. So you start a corrective action request for CAPAs using a CAR, and for preventive action you start the whole process using a preventive action request. The first one is proactive, in that you are finding things before they happen. The second piece is reactive, in that you are fixing things after, you are reacting to things after they have happened already. Okay? Alright. Let's move on. And this is the most important point of all. What shows up in the reactive loop is the consequence of what was never addressed in the proactive loop. If you find things before they happen and you address them, if you look at symptoms and you address the symptoms before the disease really sets in, you save yourself a lot of headaches and a lot of money. You save yourself a lot of pain because you're not waiting for the disease to hit, then you react to the disease. Okay, that is very important. This is a very important point. What shows up in the reactive loop is the consequence of what was not addressed in the proactive loop. If you are facing a recall situation, it's because of what you didn't address, adverse trends that you did not address during the review of your production records. If you see an adverse trend developing in production and you go, oh, that's nothing, you're gonna say it show up as maybe a recall or customer return. Okay, this point here has to be remembered. What shows up in the reactive loop is the consequence of what was not addressed in the proactive loop. In other words, if you do not address issues, potential issues, you will react to actual issues. I'm going to repeat that again. If you don't address potential issues with a preventive action, you're going to react to actual issues with a corrective action. Okay? Let's move on. These are we're going to look at the two roles of CAPA, of the two loops, and how they operate. We're going to look at the reactive loop first and what it does. Okay? This is after the fact. Anytime you operate in the CAR loop, it's after the fact. Things have happened. Now you are reacting to them. There's a recall. Now we are reacting to a recall. There are rechecks. Now we are reacting to rechecks. There are non-conformances. Now we are reacting to non-conformances. Okay? After the fact. Existing problems is the key phrase. Stops recurrency. Now that you got to remember that the car loop prevents recurrency. Okay? Alright. You got to remember that. It's very important. Sometimes I've had people say, well, we performed corrective action, then we performed preventive action. It doesn't work that way. The way it works is there are two loops. You can either prevent things from happening by addressing the symptoms of what might happen, or you can wait till things fall apart, then address them. When you are addressing things that have fallen apart already, you are in a car loop. You are in a reactive mode. Okay? You are stopping recurrency. Alright. Focus here is on correction and remedy. Okay? Therefore, CA, corrective action. Anytime you are reacting to existing problems, stopping recurrency, and focusing on correction of the problem and the remedy, you are in a corrective action mode. Let's look at the proactive side of things, the past side of things. Okay? That is before the fact. Remember, CA is after the fact. This is before the fact. Okay? And PA addresses potential problems. Things haven't happened yet, but if we don't do something about them, things are going to fall apart. We don't have a recall yet, but if we don't address these risks, we may have a recall. This is based on risk and adverse trends. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Preventive action is based on two things: the risk involved and adverse trends. Okay? Over there, CA is based on adverse events. Things have happened. There have been customer returns. There are customer complaints. Those are addressed in the CA loop. Okay? Existing problems. Over here, things may happen if we don't address them, if we don't address the symptoms. Alright. One addresses before the fact, the other one is after the fact. That you got to know. Okay? The focus here is on prevention by addressing adverse trends and weight risk. And that's preventive action. Alright, that covers the module on introduction of CAPA to you. Have some questions? You may shoot them to me at david@cgmpuniversity.com. I'll answer them the best way I can. Simple, david@cgmp.com. cgmpuniversity.com, that's it. We'll answer them for you. Thank you. The next module will dive into CAPA itself. Alright, hope that helps. Shoot me an email.